Hello, everyone. So, I hope all of you have been as curiously waiting to watch the video as we have been waiting to record the same. So, we are talking about the first profile over here, the first job career, the career option for a chartered accountant, that is of a job. In job, we've already talked about company profile, growth, the growth trajectory, city, and then finally, like we've shortlisted some two, three companies wherein we would like to apply for a job. Then how do we come to know, how do we approach these companies? So we said either you can go through your contacts, your network, or the LinkedIn or YouTube, or you can through the career portals find such information or so now in this particular video, our entire focus is going to be on the discussion of how to prepare a powerful, no nonsense, and absolute straight to the point CV, right? So a very lot of sometimes a lot of uh, aura or a lot of air is there, कि हाँ CV तो बड़ा stylish or it should be something this and that. Okay, so no this and that, just up to the mark. The content has to be more important, not the font or not the format or whether it's in italics or bold. That really doesn't matter. What goes into the making of the CV is very, very important over here, right? So again, we have Yatharth to share his expert advice and his suggestions to us regarding how do we go about preparing a, it has to be a bomb blasting CV. It should not happen that a CV which is prepared after sharing the knowledge which you give us, that nobody looks at our CV or puts it aside. They is like, oh, this person we have to call for the interview. So that type of a CV, please share some tips with us, Yatharth, for the same.
Probably the CV could be with that attitude कि कौन है ये जिसने पू को पलट के नहीं देखा,
Oh
कौन है ये
yeah,
जिसने CV shortlist नहीं करा वाला
exactly, like a K3G attitude. Okay.
attitude.
A poo attitude.
Right.
Great, great.
So, like CV being the first document which will, help you shortlisting, and then you can, probably get into interviews. It's the first impression which you'll make in front of the organization. So it's very important to, like put in good efforts and time to, prepare a CV
Yeah.
which is appropriate. Typically CV should be, a one-pager document, not more than one page. I know it's difficult once we, get our work experience and those things. So, to accommodate everything in one page, I know it's difficult, but we'll have to manage. So typically a CV would involve, four sections. First would be general details, which will be, your name, email address, and your phone number. That's it. You don't need to put your residential address and those things. These would be the general details. You don't have to, put those father occupation, father details, blood group, because it is of no relevance
That you
as such.
prepare a separate CV for. So that you can prepare a
Ah,
separate CV.
Correct. So you don't need to, add those irrelevant details
Details.
first. Second, first, general details. Second could be your academic background, your academic achievements, your degrees, your qualification, your marks, and all those things. If you have some ranks, or you have, how many exemptions you got, if a rank in school and those things, 10th, 12th, graduation, CPT, intermediate, finals. And if you have any other degree like CFL, 1 L2 or CS and those things, you can put in the details in that academic session. As you know that, the space is one of the constraints. So probably you can, tabulate, or, you can make a table of your academic qualifications, which will, help you save space. And you can probably, it will also, give a beautiful appearance in a sense. It will be, simple and a nice way to
Correct.
present. Uh, First, general details. Second, academic. Third would be on your work experience. Work experience would typically involve, your articleship which you have done, or any industrial training which you have done. It needs to be chronological. That is, the latest work should be like at the top. Then probably the second one, if you, for example, take a transfer, you do industrial training. Then first about industrial training, then about the articleship experience. Then if you have any internship, or if you have, probably your father has a practice or has a business where you have, contributor where you are working from, you
Work.
can add those things. Definitely it will be an add-on. That is how your work experience would be. Add, like on work experience side, you have to be very honest with it, what you write, because the interviewer will definitely, question you on the experience which you add in. You should be thorough with the work, you should be honest about it. Thirdly, you should also so what usually nowadays organization look at is for problem solvers. So
Yeah.
probably you can, phrase your sentences or your work in a manner where it shows that you see a problem and you solve it. That could be an approach. Or probably, there could be approach where you show what responsibilities
Yeah.
have been given to you and how you fulfill those responsibilities. So these would be two approaches. Instead of simply writing you audited XYZ, you can probably
Mm.
write in a way you got an opportunity, or you managed people, or manage team, and those things you can build up on that end. Then the fourth segment after general details, academic qualification, work experience. Fourth is your extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities, nowadays people use words like position of responsibilities, or some other activities and those things, which are typically extracurricular activities. Position of responsibilities would be, if you were organizer for a festival or a event, if you were the head boy, head girl back in your school, or all these type of, if you were, for example, a member of Vicasa, or Leo Club, Lions Club, all these type of positional
Yeah.
responsibilities, which show that you have those required skill set to manage and lead the team. And the other extracurricular activities, around dance, drama, acting, singing, instruments, all these poems,
Sports.
like whatever you do,
Yeah.
which shows that you are more than you are more than academics. You also live a life, right? That also shows uh, your approach towards life, and that you want you are into a lot of stuff. So these are the four typical heads, which a section, or as sections, which come in CV. Now, what usually company nowadays evaluate, especially the management consultancy firms like Bain, BCG, McKinsey, they look for a spike in your profile. They,
Yeah.
typically call it a spike in your profile. Now, what is exactly a spike is? All these three categories. General details are obviously general. All these three categories, amongst that is, academics, work experience, and extracurriculars, or positional responsibilities, or whatever you call it. There needs to be all these things needs to be average or above average. That would be first criteria. And second, any at least minimum at least one of these three needs to be extraordinary. That is, one of these three needs have should have a spike. For example, academic, all India rank would be a spike. In work experience, probably working at a big four or doing an industry training from a good company would be a spike. In extracurriculars, spikes could be some national award, or some, if you have played a national level tournament, or a national level theaters, of these things. So these probably would be spike in any three of these. It's like, master of some, jack of all. You have to be
Yeah.
jack of all and master of some.
Hmm.
That is the concept, or the rationale behind this. So that is how, typically you have to prepare your CV. So yeah, that's about it. Like, broadly, these would be the factors which you have to take in your mind. Again, because you'll be applying in different companies and profile, probably you can customize your CV for different types of, when you apply for different types of companies. For example, when you apply for an investment banking firm, so you can probably write more about the financial experience which you have, and if you, for example, you can, if you apply for an industrial job, probably you can, write more about the typical areas which you handle in during your audit. So, that would be relevant for the person. You can, code it that way. Another thing, while writing your work experience, you should not disclose the client's name. You can, maybe make a generic reference to it, saying, it was a major player in XYZ industry, having a revenue or a turnover of XYZ crores and stuff.
Gross.
That probably you can do. Also, while writing your work experience, make sure you have, like, you should also have knowledge around the area where you are working, and not only the areas which you have worked in, but also around the areas which you haven't worked in, but it's around the industry. For example, they can ask you about the trends in the industry of your clients. They can ask you about the revenue or the business model. Though I know you wouldn't have executed at articleship level the revenue of a big
Hmm.
client in Big Four and stuff. So, but you should know about the revenue model, about the business model, about the trends, or about the practices of a typical industry, because that is what they expect out of you, about
Yeah.
those knowledges. So you have to be very thorough about the industry, about the client you're working with. After giving your exams, you spend 2 3 more months of again resuming your articleship. So that time you can uh, you can change the way you look at your work, because now you're not just working to complete your articleship, but you're also working to understand about the client in order to get your next job, and to prepare for your interview. So
Correct.
you can change your perspective. That will help you going into minute details about stuff. Also, there. So yeah, that is how typically you can. And all these things need to be in one page. So
One
that
page.
again, would
That's
be a
the
challenge.
challenge.
Formatting.
That's the real challenge of
Correct.
putting it
Correct.
entirely in one page. But I think after we go through one or two rounds of, like you prepare the first draft of your, then how you go for a pressy writing, that type you realize, that these are the points you can club them together, or these 2 points are being repetitive, so I can just put it under 1 point or so. And on the extracurricular, as you said, that all, even if one of them, as there are three, apart from the general, we have the academic, we have the work experience, and the extracurricular. So academic, what is that is going to be there? Work experience, we can just put it in a more convincing manner, in a more impressive manner, but at the same time, it should not be, something which you will not be able to answer in case if they pick up that point and start asking you questions in the interview. So you have to
Correct.
write it in such a manner that what you can manage it if the question comes in the interview. And for the extracurricular part, like if you think that, oh, I've been so busy studying all these time, articleship and classes and everything never really gave me that time, or I really never had an interest. But now I think, that that part of my CV looks like a bit, on the it weighs a little bit low. So maybe you can do some courses on any of the ups, learning platforms, like say some Udemy or some, just a booster
Correct.
course of some finance
Correct.
or anything. You learn a musical instrument and you could add it, that you join a particular sports club. So just not, you join it and then you put it in your CV, but you mean, you walk your talk. So you
Right.
develop a
Right.
genuine interest and you identify, you do your SWOT analysis. Okay, this is probably an area I need to work upon. Like my CV is falling a bit low on this front. And as we said, it cannot be that academics are very high and then, you've done your articleship in a big four, but you have no great experience over there, or, experience is there, but co-curricular is not good. All three have to be like, it has to be A plus A, B. It has to be in that range only.
Right.
So you
Correct.
start, a good way to identify, okay, what is remaining in my CV, what I need to work upon, is that we start preparing a CV and then identify, okay, oh, probably more 6 months of my articleship are remaining. I would like an experience in this company. So ask boss for that type of a work, or join a course or something like that to cover up on
Correct.
the
Correct.
extracurricular. So, but again,
Correct.
no colorful formats, no very fancy font to be used in the CV, a simple Times New Roman, Calibri, or an Arial, right? That too at a nominal font size of 11, that would be fine, in a grayscale model to be put over there, and giving your general details, then your academic qualifications in a tabular format, work experience, and then your extracurricular activities. And this entire, your entire journey has to be covered entirely in one page. So
Right.
that's the most important takeaway. And this is going to be the CV which you prepare, is one on the basis of which you would be called for the interview. And then again, the interview questions are going to be based on what you have written on the CV. So it's going to be like, the next milestone for which we are going to be reaching further. So I
And
hope so.
also,
Online,
based on your
yeah. So
and also,
online, they
based on
can
your
find many
profile,
such portals where they will find CVs, and they'll give fixed formats and you just put your details and your CV is prepared.
correct.
But no, nothing works like, you prepare a CV, you open an MS Word file, you make a table over there, you start preparing your own CV. That's going to be the best CV when not a cut copy paste, where they talk about career objectives and what is your aim and what do you see yourself, and then you catch all the fancy English language from there and you put it in your CV, and even you don't know what exactly that sentence means. So I think that can be
Correct.
avoided. Let it be very simple, straight from the heart, and very technical and no nonsense type of a content over there.
Agreed. Agreed. And
Yeah.
also, based on your interest in job company, like, if you want to develop, or, you want to build your CV more, you want to
Hmm.
make it stronger. So based on your profile, for example, if you're interested in investment banking, then probably, you can do a 10-day, 15-day course on financial modeling or
Yeah.
valuations on Udemy, or, there are a lot of platforms which, stimulate you to these experiences, and you can add them to your CV. First, it will not only, make your CV stronger, but it will also be, relevant for the job you're applying for and you're looking for. You'll get an edge over it, and obviously it will help you increase your knowledge. So that is how you can, and also it will be a double check on your interest. For example, I think I'm interested in investment banking. Now once I do the FCF model, like the financial, cash flow modeling, and all these
Yeah.
courses, I'll be, into what exactly investment banking is, and probably I can realize, this is something which I'm not enjoying doing.
Hmm.
So probably, I can maybe, it would be a dual check on, what exactly I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So that is also, can make sense.
And if you do any such course, any add-on course, so you get more of the technical jargon, some more business models, some more deeper understanding regarding the subject. So that's always an added advantage over there.
Also,
So
add but at least some numbers and data around, probably the turnover of the client, the net worth of the client, or market capitalization, just to have some numerical data, and it will also show that you have, handled big numbers during your articleship experience if you have, served two big clients.
yeah, so you
That also
can
and makes an impression. Yes, you have handled big numbers.
Yeah,
So
so you
yeah.
can mention like a Fortune 500 company or a listed company or listed on the US stock exchange, depending upon. So whenever you're doing your articleship also, you can keep a track of, what type of assignments, what type of roles and responsibilities, that how you handled a particular situation, how you were given a particular task, how you met the deadline. So those type of an achiever, not that, I did this checking of this area and I went for this audit and though, no, that's a very raw format to put the content as such. So more of leadership responsibilities and achievement is how you can put the content in the CV. Okay.
And also while sending CV, what you usually require would be a cover mail or
Cover
cover
letter,
letter sort
yeah.
of thing, which is nothing but you can keep it short and simple because and you have to keep it short and simple. And second, probably if you have something extraordinary, then you can highlight. For example, if you have an all India rank,
Yeah.
so you can write in the cover letter itself, I am like so and so candidate, I have an all India rank, I have backed these things, and this is my extraordinary achievements. So probably that can help you to highlight what you actually want to highlight.
Huh.
And another thing which you can do is probably you can bold the keywords in your CV. For example, your achievements, your industry experience. Whichever industry you have experience in, and those things. So probably we'll add a CV in the description box where you can see all these formatting and bolding keywords and these things, which will help you to probably have a base to prepare your own CV.
Yeah, certainly. Right. So I hope all of you have had an idea regarding an outline and what content, and then on Google is always there for further researching on how to prepare. But at least this is the trend right now. This is how the biggest multinational organizations are looking forward for the CV to be in this particular format. So now, it's like we are walking one step ahead. So first we selected a company. Now for that company, we prepared the CV. Now the CV, we are going to send it through the HR, or we could be sending it through our colleague or any referral program, or you could be putting through any recruitment portal. So you send your CV to that organization. You make sure that it reaches to the organization from multiple sources. And then after that, waiting for the call to come wherein you would be called for the interview, and then you would again come to the next video also to, yes, get more insights on the
Right.
discussion regarding how to go
Right.
about the
Just
interview.
adding on LinkedIn as a platform, there's a culture of where unknown people send connection requests to unknown people, and unknown people send messages and they respond to
Yeah.
unknown people. So in whichever company you decided, you can probably directly look for the person working in that company, in that profile, and you can share your CV with him, and he can probably send it to the relevant person in
Yeah.
HR. Because HR is a huge department in big companies. Some HR look after investment banking, some would be looking after valuation. So the relevant HR, to reach out to the relevant HR, probably the unknown LinkedIn person could help you. And after sending your CV, the shortlisting happens, and after shortlisting, interview starts, which would be probably covered in the next
Yeah,
video to come
yes,
on.
yes, surely. Yeah. So Yatharth, next time we meet for yes, we'll have an interview regarding an interview in our next video over there.
Great.
Right. So thank you all students for watching this series of video, and I hope you are finding it yes helpful for all of you to get some further insights regarding your job, regarding the CV, and now next coming up would be regarding the interviews. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.